we got this very heartening news that cinema halls have opened for the public in Kashmir yesterday for the first time since 32 years. What is the significance of something like this in Kashmir's journey to peace and prosperity, and more generally as well, how do you look at the changes in Kashmir post August 2019?
It's very amazing for me to see the debate still going on about Article 370, the nullification of Article 370. And people do this all sort of, as you said, mental gymnastics, it's unconstitutional and woe and ye. And I'm like, we lost 2 generations of Kashmiris. They are buried 6 feet under. That includes my late husband as well, right? After August 5, 2019, not a single person has died. Is your priority saving lives, or is your priority a rhetorical debate on the constitutionality of it? I still feel it was not unconstitutional. Look at the injustices that were going on with having that special status and the Article 370. Valmiki community, right? There's been tremendous written on it. The Northwest Pakistani refugees not getting their status. The Valmiki community couldn't get jobs. Even if they qualified as a PhD, you could still only get a menial job, right? Isn't that injustice? Where are human rights violations then? Because we have a whole industry, the Intifada factory, based on human rights violations in Kashmir, जो पाकिस्तान से स्पॉन्सर होके टर्की में अब पहुंचा है, right? And then you have a Kashmiri daughter. If she got married to a non-Muslim who doesn't have a state subject of Kashmir, she would be disinherited from her inheritance. Yeah. That all changed. Secondly, all Indian Penal Code laws are applied to J&K, which means decriminalizing same-sex marriages, right? So again, that's progressive. A lot of things, but the main thing was that lives were saved. There has not been a single stone pelting incident after that day. I monitor it constantly. Not a single death. The only people dying now there are the terrorists which are being killed by the Indian Army and the JK police. Phenomenal job. So anybody still getting into this debate, and then look at the developmental works, which is obviously there, every country has to develop, but वो सारा ठहराव आ गया था. 30 years के लिए we couldn't do anything. You couldn't develop a road, you couldn't develop a clinic, you couldn't develop a hospital or a school, because all of that money was being wasted into the separatist politicians taking money from here, taking money from the other side as well across the border, and then getting into these mental gymnastics, Article 370 and special status and all that. No, Kashmir was always an integral part of India. We had this proxy war from Pakistan across the border, which we call the unfinished business of partition. हम लोग भी उसमें pawns बन गए. And काफी time लगा, about 2 decades, to understand what is happening. And I'm so relieved. I was assured that any party which would think of nullification would be committing political suicide. Years ago, 2013 में मुझसे कहा गया था कि नहीं, कोई पार्टी नहीं, किसी में इतना जिगरा नहीं है. But then they did it. And I feel that India is always going to be a soft state. हमारा ethos ही ऐसा है. हम बहुत ज्यादा लिबरल हैं, चाहे कितने भी हम लोग सोशल मीडिया पे डिबेट करते रहे. वी आर नेवर गोइंग टू बी फासिस्ट. ये हम पे नाम लग चुका है, बट वी आर नेवर गोइंग टू बी दैट. सो इंडिया इज नेवर गोइंग टू बी अ हार्ड स्टेट, like Russia is, tackling the jihad problem in Chechnya, like China is. It's never going to do that. हमारा इथॉस ही वैसा नहीं है. So this nullification is one of the soft approaches of Kashmir, I believe. They are very softest on issues. This is a soft approach. Banning the PFI, again, I feel is still a soft approach. They can go hard. They are not going to do that. We don't have it in us. वो है भी नहीं हमारा. क्योंकि ये जो सारा आप breaking India का ये देखते हैं narrative, I'm like, how are these people operating? And then you realize that they have very jet-setting lifestyles and everything, right? And हम लोग जो common people होते हैं, हमें तो we eke out a living, we are middle class people and we have our day jobs and everything, and उसके ऊपर हम फिर ये narrative भी tackle करें, right? So India's nullification of Article 370, we had this, 1947 May, I tweeted about it also, that Kashmir acceded to India in October 26, 1947. And then we had August 5, 2019, बीच में जो भी interlude हुआ है, that is going to be a blink in history. Nobody's going to remember it. Nobody's going to remember the 2 generations that we lost. Nobody's going to remember these 30 years. Nobody's going to remember that the Kashmiri Pandits were thrown out of the valley. I doubt they're ever going to come back. I wish they do, but I'm very realistic. They've lost a culture. हमारा जो सारा social fabric है that was torn, I think irreparably. I don't think it's ever going to be repaired. There's a permanent fault line now, but lives have been saved. Children can go to school. There is no crossfire incident, no grenade attack. Once in a while होता रहता है, but the Kashmir police, JK police, is taking care of it nicely, and that's what the priority should have been all along: saving lives, finishing this insurgency, this cross-border sponsored terrorism.
Right.
That was the priority.
Absolutely.
And it's done now. Kashmir is integrated fully.
Yes. And I think
What is left is the hearts and mind. Yes. What is left is the hearts and mind. And as you said, cinema hall is open. So that's one of the steps. I think the train is being, we are being connected to the mainland. And lots of other development works are happening. I keep an eye on it and I keep seeing. And so far, there's been a lot of positive news.
Yes. And I think the international community really needs to understand the significance of the changes that are happening in Kashmir. Because otherwise, I mean, if they continue to sort of buy into the Pakistani narrative or the narrative of certain vested interests, they're going to completely misread what's happening in Kashmir. And if anything, I mean, it is about making these changes more entrenched and helping establish that kind of an environment where people can flourish, and also safeguard Hindu and Sikh minorities which have come under attack even after August 2019. I think that is what should be the priority going forward, so that there is true peace and prosperity in Kashmir.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. धन्यवाद, नमस्कार.